A plan that was supposed to reshape FIFA's finances for a generation collapsed in a matter of days, and now the fallout is tearing through the organization's own leadership in public. Arsene Wenger, yes, that Arsene Wenger, FIFA's chief of global football development since 2019, has just gone on record calling the collapse of Gianni Infantino's private investment plan not just the right outcome, but an outcome that was never actually in question. His words, absolutely necessary and beyond question. Let us break down exactly what happened, because this is one of the strangest weeks in FIFA's modern governance history. Here is what Infantino was actually proposing, a new commercial subsidiary created specifically to run FIFA's biggest events, including the World Cup itself, with outside investors allowed to buy ownership stakes in that subsidiary. In plain terms, private capital would have owned a slice of the commercial rights to football's biggest tournament, and to get the plan approved, Infantino reportedly offered every one of FIFA's 211 member associations $40 million each if they backed it. 211 federations, $40 million apiece. That is the scale of what was on the table to secure a yes vote. It did not work. Within days, UEFA, representing 55 European football nations, threatened to boycott every single FIFA tournament if the plan went ahead. That is not a strongly worded letter. That is the entire European game threatening to walk away from FIFA competitions altogether. Facing that level of resistance, Infantino was forced to withdraw the plan entirely. Now here is where it gets genuinely uncomfortable for FIFA, because the fallout from this scandal has not stayed behind closed doors. It has spilled into public statements from some of the most senior people inside the organization, or including people who are normally reliably supportive of Infantino. Start with Wenger. This is not some outside critic. Wenger has previously backed Infantino publicly, including supporting the idea of playing the Men's World Cup every 2 years, a position that made him unpopular with plenty of traditionalists in the sport. This is someone who has generally been an ally, not an adversary, and yet a week after news of the investment plan broke, Wenger issued a formal statement through FIFA distancing himself from the entire project. He said he had no involvement in the strategic plan and first learned about it through media coverage, the same way the rest of us did. Then he called for genuine transparency and integrity from football's governing body and confirmed that scrapping the plan was, in his words, absolutely necessary and beyond question. Read between the lines there. FIFA's own chief of global football development is publicly stating he was kept out of the loop on a plan to sell stakes in the World Cup, and that walking it back was not even debatable. But Wenger is not operating in isolation here. He is one of 18 FIFA officials named in a formal document preservation letter that UEFA sent to FIFA threatening legal action. A document preservation letter is not a casual request. It is a legal instrument, typically sent when an organization is seriously preparing for litigation and wants to make sure evidence is not deleted, altered, or lost before it can be examined. 18 names on that list. That is not a symbolic gesture. That is preparation for a genuine legal fight. Then there is Carlos Cordeiro, Infantino's own senior advisor on global strategy and governance. Cordeiro is, as of now, the only FIFA official to actually resign over this entire episode. His explanation was blunt. He called the proposal a bad deal for football and said it risked mortgaging the sport's future to satisfy short-term financial pressure. When the president's own senior strategic advisor resigns and publicly frames the plan in those terms, that is about as damning an internal verdict as an organization can receive. And finally, Mattias Grafstrom, FIFA's Secretary General, one of the most powerful operational roles in the entire organization, and unlike Wenger and Cordeiro, someone widely seen as genuinely close to Infantino. Grafstrom became Infantino's chief of staff back in 2016, the same year Infantino was first elected president and was elevated to Secretary General in 2024. This is about as close to the center of power as it is possible to be inside FIFA. Grafstrom sent an internal memo to staff in the aftermath of the collapse, describing the past week as difficult to comprehend and accept. He acknowledged the episode as regrettable, while urging staff to stay focused on FIFA's mission and its 211 member associations, and to trust that the administration would be protected through what he described as a period of political turmoil. His underlying message to staff was straightforward: individuals. And difficult moments pass, but the institution and its responsibilities to world football continue, and professionalism and composure matter more than ever right now. So here's what we actually have: a plan to sell commercial stakes in the World Cup to private investors, a 211 federation, $40 million per federation attempt to buy approval for it, a full continental confederation threatening to boycott FIFA entirely, a forced withdrawal within days, a resignation from the president's own senior advisor, a formal legal preservation letter naming 18 FIFA officials sent by UEFA, and 2 of Infantino's own closest allies, one who usually backs him, one who is genuinely close to him, both issuing public statements that read less like damage control and more like distancing themselves from what almost happened. This is not a minor administrative dispute. This is FIFA's own senior leadership, in public, on the record, describing an episode inside their own organization as something that should never have gotten as close to happening as it did. FIFA has been approached for comment on all of this. As of now, they have not provided one, which leaves the real question hanging over world football right now. If the president of FIFA can get this close to selling a stake in the World Cup itself, and it takes a threatened continental boycott, a resignation, and a legal preservation letter naming 18 officials to stop it, what does that tell you about how close football's governing body actually came to changing forever? Drop your take in the comments. And subscribe, because if UEFA follows through on that legal threat, this story is only getting started.